Hello everyone, welcome back to another BeardNord video. I kind of wanted to take today to create a video that was kind of more laid back, not as much editing as it were. Maybe that's because I'm being lazy, but I just thought it suited the sort of theme of this video. So while I was watching YouTube, I came across Jacksepticeye's video on his top 9 favourite video games to date. Sort of those which captured and characterized who he is as a person. And so I just really liked the idea and I thought I'd do it myself. It just seemed like a lot of fun, and that's what we're doing. So on the screen you can see I've made a sort of a 3x3 square of the top 9 games which I think sum up who I am at this current point in time. Some of them are because of maybe the gameplay, some are nostalgia reasons. It's a whole mix, and I kind of wanted to share it on the channel. So the first game is on the top left, and that's Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets for PlayStation 1. And the reason that this is special to me is because it was actually my first ever video game I played. I'd never touched them before. My dad had a PlayStation 1 which he didn't really use, and so at some point I picked it up and I played this game. I used to rent it with my parents from the library. Like every weekend we'd play it, and although I don't think I got very far, it's the fact that there was memories tied with that. So I'd play it with them, or they'd be watching me play it. And I remember, I mean, I don't know if anybody has probably played it, but there was this mission where you go to the Weasley's house and there's a troll in the attic, and you have to move the chest to try and catch the flying pipe so it doesn't make such a racket. And I remember being stuck on it, and even my dad would try and help me and he'd get stuck, and it was just fun when we eventually figured it out and managed to do it. And to me it's just got a lot of personal attachment. So years later I actually rebought it, just because obviously when I was younger I could only rent it from the library, and now it's part of my collection and it just holds a special place. So yeah, I think that's why it's on there. It just has a lot of sentimental value. The next game is Pokemon White on the Nintendo DS. Now there's so many Pokemon games I could have chose from, but this one to me holds a special place as it was the first game that I pre-ordered. I remember going to a game store in the UK and essentially pre-ordering it. I'd watch Japanese videos where they got the game a bit early in anticipation for getting the game and just being so excited for it. I even got the guide which told you all the different routes where all the Pokemon were located. I truly invested all my time and effort into this game and I absolutely loved it. It also was where I first discovered pixel art in video games, and even to this day I just love the style. I mean, that's something I miss from Pokemon games now. It's just that old pixel style, the music, from Diamond and Pearl, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and then Pokemon White and Black. It just oozed with a sort of independent, unique style which really captured me. And on top of that, it was just fun to go and catch Pokemon. And in this generation, I believe that it was all unique Pokemon, brand new to this generation. It wasn't like Pokemon games now where they incorporate from several different generations, and so every single new Pokemon was exciting to see because it had never been viewed before. Right, so the next game is obviously Breath of the Wild. Now I've done a whole dedicated video on why I love this game on the channel, so I'll keep this one quite short. If you want to know more, then definitely go check it out. To me, this was the first game that sort of was like therapy, in the sense that it was just so non-judgmental. The open, vast world just touched me in a way that no video game had done before. It was at the time where I was struggling personally with mental issues, and so I'd often stay in my room, wouldn't really interact, or I'd sort of put on a facade that I was okay. And the thing that usually got me through the day was the fact that I would always be able to come back to this game, uh, and not necessarily do anything particular, but just to walk about in the world, to see the people, just to almost transport myself into the land of Hyrule, where these outside troubles didn't exist. It's definitely my favourite video game of all time, I think it's safe to say. It just holds such a special place in my heart, and I can't wait for Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever it will be called. But yeah, if you want to learn a bit more as to what the game means to me, then definitely check out my video on it. Next is Skyrim. Now, Skyrim is amazing for its gameplay, for its story, for its character design. I mean, I love that sort of Nordic aesthetic, but what really stood out to me in this game is its soundtrack. It's the first game where I sort of took a step back and really listened to the music and just appreciated the composers and the creators of the soundtrack, and just how much of an impact it has on a video game. I mean, Skyrim for me wouldn't be as impactful without its legendary music. I love the streets of Whiterun. I mean, the list goes on, but it's just a game which introduced me to video game music, and I just fell in love. It can honestly just transport me right into Whiterun, or to any other town that's in Skyrim, you know, the homestead, wherever. And yeah, I've had Skyrim on the Xbox 360, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, PS4. I mean, I've sort of sold my soul to Bethesda on this one, but every time I jump in, I just love it, and it had to be on this list. So, following on from Skyrim is God of War 2018, and the reason that it's on the list is because it actually acted as the inspiration for my final dissertation at university, specifically looking at how video games can sort of capture history in a digital format. Obviously, liberties were taken with this video game in terms of, you know, I know it's based in mythology, but that is still history. You know, the mythology of the Norse and the sort of Viking influence that's within, and it truly does a brilliant job at this by staying true to Norse mythology as we know it, while also having its own flair and its own characteristics which make sure it stands alone from the rest. Specifically, the axe throw, I had to mention it. I mean, just throwing it off a cliff and being able to watch it go all the way down and track where it goes just blows my mind. I absolutely love the music, the character design, the story, the direction of the game. If you haven't played it, you really should play it, and I personally believe that it is just brilliant, and I can't wait for God of War Ragnarok. So, next, following this, is Need for Speed Carbon on the PSP. Now, this is definitely a curveball. It's not the sort of generic games you may think of that stand out, but for me it holds a special place, specifically the PSP port, as that was my main gaming console during my younger years. It was just brilliant because it offered a sense of freedom, with the fact that it had a sort of open world aspect and you could get chased by police. And while this may sound simplistic, and upon reflection maybe the game wouldn't hold up as well today, it's the fact that it acted as a distraction for me during my younger years, when there were certain family troubles with family members being in hospital, etc. and it allowed me to just escape. I mean, I think that's the common theme with this whole list of games, is that they just all act as a form of escapism, which, I mean, that's probably the point of games themselves, but yeah, it just allowed me to focus in on driving my car, putting in my headphones and blocking out any outside noise. It's a special game to me, and definitely one which I needed to put on this list for that very reason. Now, after this is Super Mario Odyssey. You might possibly suggest that I should have put Mario 64 or Super Mario Sunshine, but to me this was my Mario 64, in the sense that it had that impact which people had when they first played Mario 64. This game is just lovely and an absolute pleasure to play. It is definitely vibrant and full of colours, and sort of acts like just a pocket of serotonin. I mean, it's just, there's no way you could be upset with this game. It just makes you smile every second. Also, the level design and just how many moons there are allow this game to prolong how long you will be playing it for. I've easily got over 100 hours in this game, and that's not just through a single playthrough, that's through multiple playthroughs, because it's just so fun. Specifically, the controls for Mario, it's just so fluid, it's so easy, and it's not extremely difficult to become skilled at the game in terms of being able to manipulate his moveset in a way which means that you just flow through levels. It's satisfying, it's got that Nintendo seal of quality. It's just a must-have if you have a Nintendo Switch. So next on the list is Minecraft. Yeah, no, it's a bit of a generic one, but it had to be on here. It's a classic. It's just a sandbox where you can do anything and everything. And I just remember coming home from high school every evening and jumping on with my friends, usually until late in the night. And there's just so many good memories tied with this game. It was endless. You could always start new worlds. It was just a load of fun to play. Furthermore, its ability to just feel free, full of character, but almost like a digital Lego set is what captured me the most. You could build anything, you could be anyone, or you could just go around mining trees or whatever you wanted. It didn't really matter. There wasn't specifically an end goal. It could be endless, or you could complete the game. You could do whatever you want, and I think it's that free and open nature which really makes it a classic, and hence why it's still popular today, and it's years and years old, is because it's just so malleable. It can be used for multiplayer, single player, competitions, to teach people, as Minecraft has this educational side to it now, where you can use it in actual classrooms. It's just a great game which I'm sure most people who are watching this have played. Finally on the list is Simpsons Hit and Run. I mean, growing up I wasn't allowed older rated games like Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, and so Hit and Run to me was like my GTA. It was so awesome to be able to drive around Springfield and cause mass mayhem, whether that's hitting people with cars or just kicking random people over, smashing things for money. I mean, it was just a load of fun, and the sheer variety in level design, specifically when you would swap from playing as Homer to Bart to Apu to Lisa to Marge, truly made it feel fresh with every new chapter. I really hope that one day this is remade or remastered in some way. I don't have high hopes, but you never know. If you haven't played it, at the very least watch someone play it. I'm sure there's still people playing it now on Twitch or YouTube. It's just a bit of an OG game, and surprisingly a really good game for it being a licensed one, as typically licensed games aren't that great. They're more made for just a quick cash grab, as it were. And with that comes the end of my list, my top 9 video games. My top 9 video games. Thank you for listening and taking the time to watch. Hopefully some of these made sense, maybe some of them didn't. Definitely in the comments let me know what your favourite games were growing up and sort of what could define you as a person. I'm sure as I get older this list will maybe evolve and change, but for now I'm kind of, happy with how it is. Again, thank you for listening, and you've made it to the end of another BeardNord video.